Angela Yee for a Wealth Wednesday. I'm here with Stacey Tisdale.
Happy Wealth Wednesdays, everybody. And we are going to talk about something today that is near and not so dear to all of us, and that is student loan debt. And we are so very happy to have Dr. Sonia Lewis, who is the CEO and founder of the Student Loan Doctor, which you'll hear all about. But let's just jump right in. The government canceled the SAVE plan, and what is that going to mean for people?
Officially canceled as of this Tuesday, right? So this is exciting because a lot of people were in limbo in terms of what to do. Now there's no more limbo. You now know that this administration is just not playing. They're not for an easy repayment. Let's go and make some decisions. So when I say exciting, I literally been telling my community for over a year, please do not get comfortable here. This is a trap. Your interest is dropping 100 points. And now to see it in black and white, I'm like, this is what we were preparing for. So people thought they didn't have to make a plan or a repayment plan, anything for like until 2028. Now we know they have to start in like the next 2 months.
Now, I saw the Secretary of Education said for 4 years, the Biden administration sought to unlawfully shift student loan debt onto American taxpayers, many of whom either never took out a loan to finance their post-secondary education or never even went to college themselves, simply for a political win to prop up a failing administration. That's their reason.
Yeah.
And they're saying this is going to affect over 7 million borrowers.
Oh, it's big. So the thing is, nothing's illegal about what the Biden administration was proposing with the SAVE plan. Every administration can create or change repayment plans. And so the SAVE plan is just not favorable to people because a lot of the loan forgiveness aspect would fall on the American people. And people felt like, well, if I don't have a student loan, why is our monies going towards this? But this is bigger than one person getting loan forgiveness. It is to really help an economy that is burdened, $1.7 trillion of burden. People need help. And so this SAVE plan was to help people out.
And our money goes to a lot of stuff that I would rather
I didn't sign up for. Exactly.
I would rather help with student loan forgiveness than some of the other things.
And like you were saying, those people could be so much more productive for the economy if they weren't burdened with this.
Home ownership is on the line here. The reason why we see certain people leave or graduate to a new economic class is because they don't have student loans. And now with no plan out necessarily, they're not moving to the next class. And these are people that have high degrees, high titles. They can't go to the next level because of this debt.
Yeah, imagine you go to college and you're like, okay, I'm going to go to law school, medical school, graduate school. And that is all really expensive.
Oh, beyond. I mean, so the average person we serve has six-figure debt. Like, we get people forgiven all the time with $300,000, $400,000. Just last month, $997,000. There's people walking around that look like you and I that have $900,000 in student loans.
That's wild.
You don't know when you look at a person how much they owe.
Well, Dr. Sonia, it's so important that you're here today because we want to talk about what should somebody do now, because this news just broke.
Yeah, this is major. So, all right. So if you're listening to the show, good news. There's hope. But you do need to be aware that the Trump administration is proposing something called the RAP plan, Repayment Assistance Plan. It looks really pretty. It looks like the SAVE plan, but it's really bad. And so if you were to read further in the article, they're like literally pushing this plan on people. They're like, go into it now. So the problem with that plan is that, because people don't read the fine print, but we've got the cliff notes. If they were to sign up for that plan, it changes their loan forgiveness from 20 years minus like being in any public service. And a lot of people don't know that when you make a certain amount of payments, certain amount of years, you get your loans forgiven. So in this case, right, people don't know that. It would go from 20 years to 30. Do you have 10 more years?
Right, I was going to say it's 20 years. That they're changing it to 30 years.
With the new plan that everybody's going to run to because it's more affordable.
Right, because you have less payments every month, but it's just...
But now, do you have 10 more years to pay?
No, I do not.
Nobody has that.
That's like a mortgage, a 30-year mortgage.
So we're like screening from our platform like the RAP is not a good plan. It would be better to pay like a $50 extra payment in the IBR plan, income-based repayment, versus going into the RAP plan. But when people don't know better what they're going to choose, you would choose
the cheaper one.
Yeah.
Like, this is cheaper.
The one, this is less money out of my pocket.
Yeah, the minimum payment is going to be $10. So when somebody sees $10 versus $100, let's just say, what would you choose?
$10. Right.
But do you have 10 more years?
Right. $10.
It's like mortgaging your future.
Yeah.
Everybody take a deep breath. If
I
you go
know.
to teamwealthwednesdays.com, we have a free tool that will help you figure out what to do next on your student loans. That's at teamwealthwednesdays.com. Dr. Sonia is going to give us some more tips on how you can work with her. But all of this comes on the heels of a crazy reclassification of professional degrees.
Oh.
Tell us about that.
Right.
Well, that's another. When I tell you I stay busy, I'm like, I can't take a day off. All right. No, truly. So the reclassification of degrees, people are in an uproar because it sounds really like huge, but it is in the financial aid sense, not taking away that you're a professional nurse. I want to put that out there. So from a financial aid perspective, they are now saying, hey, we're not going to give you this amount of money, or you're not going to have this amount of time for repayment if you study these following degrees. The problem with that is, who do these degrees mostly affect? Well, when you look at it, it affects women, it affects African Americans, and it really affects people from all over that are from underserved populations.
Before you get into that more, let's break down a little bit more what they did.
Yeah.
So
All right.
there was degrees.
Yes.
And you could get student loan assistance for them to get like a nursing degree.
Yeah.
There were several other degrees. But now the administration has reclassified those as non-professional.
Masters in nursing, masters in education, MBA. How many people do we know with an MBA, right? All of that is like off the table in terms of giving a good amount of financial aid. The problem with this is that when we encounter students, like today, we would meet an 18-year-old, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a nurse. Amazing. We had to say, hey, Sarah, did you know that you can only go to this point with financial aid? Do you have an extra 50, 60,000 around? Because now we're telling people they can only go to a certain level in these fields with financial aid. That's a big deal because a lot of people aren't aware. They're probably in the middle of their program.
Yeah, because imagine you're in the middle of your program and then it
As
goes
of July 1st, it's done.
And that's the Department of Education that's gutting that out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the problem is, and just because I really love statistics and data, what they could have done better was they could have shared the default rate and said, hey, people in these fields default more. Hey, people in these fields have a harder time paying. Hey, if you go into this field making $80,000 a year, you borrow $200,000. Is it a good return on investment? But a lot of time, the borrowing doesn't correlate with the return on investment. That's why they didn't publish the data. Because remember what I just said. So if women and minorities who needs the most support to go for these graduate programs, what are they taking out? Extra money, refunds, checks is what they call them back in the day, to pay for their living while they're in school. Now someone's going to have to go to school part-time, be there longer because they can't focus on just being a student.
Work and everything.
And I'm not trying to be funny. The person that I want to be a nurse or a doctor, I don't need her working while in school. I need her focused in school.
Right, exactly.
I don't need you
because
IHOP.
It takes you longer to graduate because you have to work and take your classes when you can. You know, Dr. Sonia, this is all like, first of all, you're so passionate about it. What has been your experience? Because I know that's where this stems from.
Yeah, okay, so let's just go back. I know that I look super young.
You
like
used to
18.
be the overdraft queen?
So this started because I used to work in higher education. And I had a perspective of adult learners. I was in enrollment and financial aid. And I would just say, like, I just used to feel passionate. Like, I just got to make sure Angela knows before she leaves what this looks like. Because she's an adult already I was working with. And I wanted her to borrow wisely, be able to afford her mortgage, like just seeing big picture. And then from a doctoral level, I studied this as well, how student loans affect African American women. So I say all that to say I am passionate about it because I am an African American woman who has student loan debt, or had been paying it off, right? And I said, nobody's talking about this. This is the thing that is like the silent financial killer. And the problem with that is no matter how much I compete with my peers, I used to see this when I used to work in the workforce. Let's say me and you worked same place, made the same salary. I found out that you had support with college. You're financially ahead of me. You live in a different zip code. You drive a better car. I'm over here with beans and rice at the same job.
What is it? African Americans, like 20 years, 15 or 20 years after graduating, their debt levels are higher.
Well, the problem is interest.
Yeah.
This is a little baby loan when it starts off, but then the interest, and
more
this
than the
even,
loan.
I think that's illegal how the interest accrues
Yeah.
on a student loan.
They need to fix that before anything. And, you know, I want to say, even aside from all of that, the financial burden of these student loans, think about like internships, how important that is in college.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we may want to do an internship somewhere or get our foot in the door somewhere. But if we can't afford to get housing in a different city and also not make like a certain salary, then that's off the table for us too.
Well, I think the thing is where it really showed up for me at was home ownership. So do you know how many people come to us because we're in the middle of their home purchase? Literally, and we can't do anything in the middle. We can help you before. If you're going to buy a home, they're looking at everything you have to your name. The student loan looks like you already have a mortgage. So why would they give you another one?
Absolutely.
Oh, and please don't have defaulted on your student loans. Now you look like you're going to do what? Default on your federal mortgage.
Right.
And then people don't know this, and I'll tell you, so this never happens to you. This happened to one of my good friends. He defaulted on a student loan. He came to me for help after he lost his ability to get federal clearances moving forward. He cannot have a job that requires a federal security clearance.
Wow.
Because it looks like you do what? You're not a responsible citizen.
That's crazy.
I thought that was wild.
Now,
That is
one thing I
crazy.
always say, because when I had my student loans, I kept having to defer them, but you have to do that. Like, you can't just default or not do anything.
Yeah,
You
that's
have
wild to be ignoring loans
Yeah,
in this
you
day and
can't
age.
do that. Because, you know, some people, I think also there was so much confusion around
Yeah.
student loans. Some people were like, I'm just not going to, because they, you know, I'm hoping that this is going to happen. You can't just hope.
We did
is gonna
something
happen.
last spring on student loans, and it was like 40% of people with student loans weren't doing anything about them. It was absolutely crazy.
I know. I would
But
love
they've gotten
for you.
so complicated.
The whole thing is just, okay, I would love for you to sit in on a class that I do. I do it every Monday night. It's free. We're together for 2 hours. I have my little coffee prior to. And you know what we do? We log in to studentaid.gov. That's it. We're logging in, and you're on your screen. I'm on my screen. Sometimes we get a volunteer, and I'm just literally walking through the portal. And then while I'm doing that, I'm teaching and educating on what they can get in terms of forgiveness, repayment. But then I'll do a question. When's the last time you logged in? 3 years. Never. 6 years. Nobody ever logged in last month.
Right.
Like, you can pull the data from my Zoom, and we have hundreds of people on there, sometimes thousands, and they've never logged in. Or it's a fear factor. What am I going to find when I go in here? So what I had to tell people in my community is we have to log in right now because this tax season, they're taking tax returns. So if you log in and see default, well, what's today? We're November, right? So you can get some. We're in December. See, I'm still stuck.
I was going to let you rock.
Well, all right. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny. All the days added up. You will get your return taken if you go to file it in next month.
And you know we have plans for our returns.
Them plans is going right over to the Department of Education. And guess what? That money never even gets to your student loans that you owe. It goes to the interest and the fees of the collection agency.
What's happening with student loans and credit reporting now?
All right, so a couple of things. Well, we're seeing a couple of things. The SAVE plan is really dropping people's credit by 100 points. So if you're listening and you're like, oh my God, that's why my credit dropped, it's because they have people in this forever forbearance plan until recent. And people were actually, like a couple lawsuits pending we were talking about, because the lenders are not letting people out if they were in the SAVE plan. You literally have to pull teeth to get out of the plan. If not, your credit is dropping as a result of it.
Yeah, I saw you saying that there were some lawsuits.
Yeah.
That happened.
Nelnet, Navient, and Mohilia. So Navient already got approved through the CFPB, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, for $120 million. But that is not a big number. I want everybody to know that. That's not a big... 120 million is not in relative to how many people Navient has served. But this is what they did, Angela. It's crazy. If you were a client of Navient and they knew that the lawsuit was going to go through, one day you woke up and now you had Advantage. And you're like, oh my God, I don't even know how to log in. I don't have them. Yes, you do. They offboarded and sold without telling people. You just literally got a letter from Advantage a month later. So if you're listening, you're wondering like, oh my God, that's why I got switched. Yes, certain lenders, and Mohilia's next on the list, have to offboard quickly so that when the judgment of this lawsuit goes through, like it did for Navient, they don't want to have that many people they have to notify to pay. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So what we have been doing is telling people, because this came out through the CFPB, and I only report and say things that I have actual proof on. They said, hey, if you actually had Navient as a lender, please send us a complaint to let us know, because they're probably going to go back to court to revise the current lawsuit, which hadn't been dispersed yet.
Wow. See, good things to know if you had no idea, because you do have some power.
You do. You have to say something. Nobody's going to knock on your door, and if it's a scam, nobody's knocking on your door to give you some money. So be careful, because right now that's at an all-time high. Like, oh, click here, do this. And then we've got like a lot of trendy people being influencers and like, oh, for just pay me $10 and do. I'm like, oh my God. Like, there was this one thing that was floating around on the internet. It was driving me wild. Was about like filing some FERPA complaint. Did y'all hear about that one? Oh Lord. And I was like, stop sending it to me. I put a response video, like, please stop. Because that's not a way to get your loans forgiven. What I'm concerned about, because this things are so crafty now, is that people are looking for shortcuts to get out of their loan debt. But
Scam artists have
well, people just also are over it, and they're just trying anything that works for $10. So you just have to be careful. Why would this $10 situation work and you owe $100,000? Like, let's just put a little math to it.
Go, like, and you're right. One of the first steps is to log in.
Literally. What did studentaid.gov say?
Right.
Let's start there. And then people are finding when they log in, some of this is not correct. Like, I have seen where people have had incorrect loans on their account.
Oh, damn.
I am not taking nobody else's loans.
That happens a lot.
Yeah.
It's an awful lot.
Because nobody's checking.
Right.
Or you'll get a notice that you've gotten forgiven, but the administration didn't do anything. That's common too. So then you got to send a complaint inside of studentaid.gov asking like, hey, can we go ahead and wrap this up? I have a letter here that says I was awarded from the Biden administration. So then the Trump administration just was told in court, like, release these funds, I call it, because they were I make up jokes all the time, because the Trump administration was trying not to give the loan forgiveness that was pre-awarded to people that deserved it through the Biden administration. So millions of people are held up over this, and so they literally have to get this done within like the next 3 months.
Okay.
They lost in court over that.
Good.
It's crazy.
Wow.
I know. I come here so hot and heavy. I'm like,
No, but it was honestly like divine that you came in today, because I do feel like with all of this news that just broke, it's important for people to understand, and like we said, not just do nothing.
Yeah. Oh, that's the worst thing you could do. I mean, here's the thing. You don't want to lose 100 credit points. It's like you can't clean it up and get that back. You might can get some of your points back, but
100 is
100,
it's
y'all.
a lot.
Think about the FICO score. And ain't that many hundreds to the FICO. It's like 700, 800 at greatest. So a whole 100 can take you back a tier. And then
that'll affect your interest rates or even your ability to get a loan.
And to get a job.
Yeah, to get a job in some situations.
All credit scores are not created equal. Something I've learned from having bad credit to really good credit is that you are still a minority with credit. I'm going to let you know right now. I have had a 770, and I was treated like I needed to give a blood test to get approval for things.
Sheesh.
Even with high income, I said, y'all treating me like I still got bad credit. Like I almost snapped out one time. And the thing is, it's because it goes, well, how do you have that? What's going on? How do you get that score? Or when you have bad credit, you can't get that.
I remember buying a car. I was looking at buying a really nice car. So they ran everything, and they came out and they were like, you have a really good credit score. They were like stunned. And I'm like, yeah.
You know what I found? Because I have bought all type of nice cars. I really lived a Barbie life. In Miami, I had a Lamborghini. It's crazy. I don't live like that anymore. I'm financially conscious.
In my 20s.
But everybody has a ball out moment. And if you're judging me in these comments, judge yourself. So here's what I would tell people. When I went to get that car, I literally I know the strategy. I befriended my dealership. I let my dealership know who they worked with prior that I know before going to get the car, so that the dealership could advocate for me on behalf of Lamborghini.
That is wild.
Isn't that wild?
That I'm about to come spend some money with you, and I got to make sure that you're willing to take my money.
I went up there, Angela. I can't make this up. I went up there
wild.
3 times. Shout out to Lamborghini in Miami, Florida. I went up there 3 times, and I just talked and just wanted them to know me. And then I name dropped. And I know that's so bad.
It's like dating.
Yeah, no, I'm so serious. I courted the dealership. Do you know that they called those people that I said I knew and asked for a character reference to make sure that the credit score and the money matched with.
And they also get really mad if you sell the car. Like, they want
Yeah.
you to keep it. They don't
For a
want
while.
people, because people will buy those if they're like in demand, hard to get, and
Yeah.
then resell it.
I had
Yeah.
mine for 3 years, but what I will say is, because I had a good relationship with that team, they called me and said, "Hey, you ready to let the yours go?" I was like, "Well, where she got to go?"
Okay, yours.
And I was like, "I don't want her to, I like her." And he said, "No." He said, "Sell it to New York today." He said, "Because right here in Florida, it's taking a 50K drop tomorrow." Like, I said, "Do we got some friends in New York?" And he helped me get it sold the
Oh, that's
same
great.
day.
That's nice.
And
Now,
I was
that's
like,
service.
"Bye." Like,
Dr. Sonia, what would you say to people who are like, the investment in education isn't worth it?
Oh, no. That's why I'm so concerned with all of these reclassification and changes and just the whole landscape of student loans. Like, we still need teachers. We still need nurses.
Yeah.
We still need doctors. I don't know what AI thought it was going to do, but we still need people to go to college. Now, does everybody need to go to college, Angela? No. I think that what we're finding, because we're now having to look at the economy, we're having to look on return on investment. I will be the first to tell you, everybody should not go to school, because some people will be saddled without a way out, right? But in these cases, especially some of the degrees that they're trying to touch, I'm really concerned that now people are not going to want to go into those fields. Who's going to teach the kids?
Particularly nursing.
Who's going to help you in terms of nursing, which is already a shortage in the field? I think this administration, it's so crazy. They're not thinking through the long-term
Well,
impact.
no, they hate us. What about the next administration, though? This is something they can come back and then...
Everything's undoable.
Right.
The problem is...
A lot of
well, how many more
lot
years
of
we got
damage.
before we can vote again for that? 2?
Yeah.
Is it 2 or 3?
A lot.
before we can vote. But
Yeah.
then 3 more until...
Okay.
We can vote for
So
president.
that's how many years of a gap in the workforce we
No,
can
that's awful.
experience if we don't do things. So here's what I will tell you. I'm really thinking about this, Angela. I'm not like smoke and mirrors. I'm thinking about how, as even people like myself, like, how can we give and do more scholarships? How can we assist with grants? Like, how, because it's going to have to be the collective community is going to have to step up to fill the gap that this administration is taking away.
Yeah.
And so I am doing scholarships, by the way.
Oh,
Like,
good. Okay, then
yeah.
let's get to that. Yeah.
Tell
oh
us
yeah.
about
So
that.
I don't know in this areas, but I'm excited that but my high school, my senior year, my mom was really sick and was in a coma, and we missed the financial aid window. That's also why I'm probably passionate about all this stuff. I had to learn it at like 18. And my principal was like, where are you going to college? And I was like the class president, school president. I'm like, nowhere. She's like, where are you? What do you mean? I was like, oh, we don't have any money. We missed the financial aid. I was like, my mom's in a coma. She was like, no. So my school gifted me $16,000.
Oh, wow.
So
That's amazing.
now listen, I'm a hustler. Like, I knew that when I got to school, I'm here on this 16. Y'all, I don't know what other money's coming from yet. So when I got there, I literally got a full ride when I got there. But somebody had some money, and I'm old school. I had to knock on every door and ask who had scholarship money. So you can't come to me and say, I don't know if I can apply to scholarships. Girl, I had my
The
sneakers
money's
on
out
and
there.
knocked on every door. But this was just at the institution. I was knocking on the art department. I was going to be an art major. I was going to be
What I
whatever.
gotta do, right.
What you said I needed to become to stay in college, right? I'm from Philly, and I wasn't going back home. So, sorry, y'all. Shout out to Philly. And at the time, it was so bad. It was all this violence. And I was like, I got to stay. And I told everybody that would listen my story. So I did get a full ride as a result of it. Now, fast forward, I think back to this moment. I'm in a position to give. I'm giving my high school $16,000
Oh, that's
next
awesome.
week. So I'm really excited. They don't know it's coming. It's a surprise to the seniors. And I'm like, I just think that you should start with local. I think you should start with who helped you first. Like, I have a help list, a wish list of who I want to support, which would be my high school, my college, and my church. That's where my giving will be.
And I saw you paid your mama's mortgage off.
Oh, you got to help your mama first. So let me tell you a true story. My mom is a very prideful woman. She went to college, did all the right things. One of her students got her sick with meningitis, one of the first cases in the U.S., and she lost her hearing and had to retire. So she's on her retirement and her Social Security. But, cost of living is going up.
Yeah.
And her base is here, and she's really a prideful woman. So I always ask, like, Mom, you need anything? Or just a little cash app here and there. But she kept saying, no, I'm good. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I did the math on your math.
How can
I'm
you
like,
be good?
So one day I go to the house and I see a red overdue notice for the mortgage. And I'm like, no, wait a minute now.
Yeah, can't
That's
play
not
with
cute
that.
to be driving Lamborghinis and all that. Your
And your
mom's
mom's
mortgage is
yeah.
overdue. I'm like, now, hold, this is ghetto. And I say, I said, is this accurate? My mom's deaf, by the way, now. I'm like, is this accurate? Is this... What's this? And then, you got to take a step back because she can snap on you because she's prideful. Anyway, she says, she was like, I'm going to be all right. I'm going to figure it out. And I'm like, what money? And then she's like, she was like, the Lord will provide. So I said, well, I guess I'm providing.
You're the Lord.
So I said, can I look? Because remember, you can't like look at your mom bills. I don't know how y'all was raised, but you can't be in a business.
I would have opened it. For sure.
You was allowed to be in your mom's business?
I'm not supposed to.
I would have got my hand cut off.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I said, can I open it? Because I could see it. And she's like,
actually, no, I wouldn't have.
You asked her, right? You asked her something.
I had to beg my mom to let me see her credit and all of that.
You did?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
But I had to sign on to do it. It took me like months for her to allow me to do that.
Because it's a thing.
Yeah.
People don't understand. Like, I don't know how y'all was raised, but you just not looking at your parents' stuff.
Or opening their purse.
So, right, or the purse. Oh, my God, I got a flashback. I hit. So, anyway, to stay focused. So, I open it and I look and I'm like, okay. So, it was like $27,000 or something. And I'm like, I got to do this. I'm like, I don't know. I have a stash, but the stash is for like the business stash and there's other things. And I'm like, and I just remember I prayed on it. I'm like, God, this got to be the Mother's Day gift. I'm like, and it will be done. And then all I remember is that we had a influx in business. I'm like, oh, this is done. This is it.
Yeah.
And on Mother's Day, she thought I was giving her one mortgage payment, right? That's why if you watch the video, and you can see she's deaf. Yeah. She didn't understand the numbers. Oh, she has an issue with numbers after the stroke. So that's not like her being fake about the numbers. She's really trying to comprehend.
Right.
And I'm like, and I said, no, what does it say? And she's like, 27. She said, what? Yeah. This is the wrong, if you watch it, this is the wrong amount. I'm like, in full. And she like, and then it hit me. Please, ma'am, do not have a heart attack. I was not equipped for this. And she started, I had to cut the video off because she started going like, and I said, oh God, I don't have no inhaler here. So she got it together. I said, no ER, no.
What a great feeling, though.
So she got it together. We go to the bank, and she's like crying and like screaming in the bank, and I'm like, girl, they will arrest you. Stop. And it's like a little comedy. And the lady was like putting two and two together, and she's like, are you paying this off? And then the lady behind the window starts shouting, and I'm like, oh my God, where's the camera crew? But it wasn't really for that. I think it's a good moment. Yes. I think you should be a good giver if you are blessed to do so. And I do think it starts at home.
Yes, I agree.
And she needed it. Like, this wasn't just a ball out on my mom. Like, I don't know what everybody else got going on that's in the world of entrepreneurship, but I know I needed to help her with that. Yeah. Did you know that she's nicer as a result?
Well, we should hope so.
Listen, honestly, financial stress.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Really,
I'd have did that.
Oh, it affects every
did that
every
when
part
it started,
of you.
this business. I'd have did it first if I'd have known.
She's nicer.
She come to the door. Well, she had some cookies. I'm confused what's going on. I didn't know you baked. I mean, literally, it's like signs on the house of some smile, no mortgage. I wish I had pictures of it. I'm like, what is going? I have a therapist. I said, I'm concerned about her. She said, no, this is just her
financial
reminder.
Stress.
Yeah. It says smile, no mortgage in like a few rooms. And I said, Mom, what is this? She was like, it's just it's nothing's that bad.
Right.
And you learned all this giving from your grandmother.
Yes. So my grandmother was the first to graduate college in our family, which set this whole tone. So she was a 1 of 7 out of South Carolina. There's no financial aid at the time, y'all. So I guess she went to school in the 50s. And her uncle said, you guys have to choose out of the 7 of you who's going to be the one to go to college, because I only have enough saved for one. And they voted her.
Wow.
Which really, it does give me like, goosebumps. It changed the trajectory of our family. So my grandmother's rule, and I'm not making this up when I say rule, you had to either go to college or military in her home. Or you just not invited to, like, she had a strong cutoff game. And I so bad out loud, but like she was not going over or bending over backwards for you if you didn't do one of the two. Yeah. You had to have a professional degree or military. I told her, and I was the beloved grandchild, I told her I was going to stop school so I could work, because I was making a lot of money at Sears or something. I was making like $2,000. I was like 19, Every 2 weeks. She couldn't tell me nothing, child. I had no bills. And I was signing her some money and everything. And I told her, and she said, oh, no, baby. She said, my favor and my home is only for those that are in school or graduating.
Back to school you go.
So now I got to hang up and call back the advisor and ask for my classes back. True story. So I'm glad she let me quit.
Man,
And
I
you've
love
paid
this.
that forward. You've helped over 50,000 people save
Yeah.
$500,000. Everybody out there wants to know how they can work with you. How do people do that?
So Instagram is where we have the most fun. That's where I put all the updates. Our website, drpleasehelpme.com. But really, don't pay us.
Doctor will say that slowly.
Okay, drpleasehelpme.com. Don't pay me. Don't pay anyone unless they can help you. And for us, what does help look like? We teach every Monday night. And then we have a community that's really just about education, classes, Zooms out the wazoo. So people would enroll into that. That's what payment would look like. And it's really affordable. It's like a couple hundred. We're not trying to rob anybody here. Like when we got the guy for giving $997,000, he only paid us a couple hundred. He sent us all this money for lunch.
Oh, wow.
He's like, I don't know what to do. He said, I feel like I robbed you. And I said, you did not. I said, we're blessed and we have volume. You're good. He said, I don't feel good about only paying you a couple hundred because he couldn't see his way out of his student loan debt. He's a neurosurgeon.
Wow.
Yeah, he said, I'm up
Sheesh.
here saving lives. He said, I do not have time to this. I don't know how to log in. And so when we helped him work it through, we had to clean up his loans and his 2-parent plus loans and then help him get forgiven once we cleaned it up. So it was like doing surgery. I guess it's our version of surgery, right?
I know that's right. And they could donate to for the scholarship fund.
Yeah, so we are going to be starting a scholarship because what my big wish, and it's actually easy for me to do, but I would like to do it on a bigger scale. I would like for people that are connected to our tribe or community to receive money towards a student loan payment a month. Like I want to be able to say, Angela, this month we want to pay your student loans. We want to pay your student loans.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
That's so manageable.
Yeah, and I think that we could do that as a organization right now. Not to be funny, I was just waiting for people to actually get a repayment situation set up. But after the news we just dropped, we will be very busy, y'all. Like as I was just saying in the break room, he walked in, my face was like, I was like, this would happen right before.
Right before.
Well, I'm glad it did though, because
Me too.
I
I'm
know
glad,
how
'cause
big your reach is.
You really helped us, and as far as breaking everything down and the importance
Yes.
of what's going on with this administration and how it affects us, the everyday person. So
Yeah.
thank you for that.
Thank you guys for this opportunity. This
Don't
is
go
huge.
too far because you know we're having you back on very soon.
Listen, we could be out flying every time. This stuff is going to be such a big part of our world in 2026.
Yes, it is.
I'm not trying to be funny. I just didn't think they were going to start this soon.
Right.
This is aggressive. We're not
they're
supposed to
getting
get
stuff,
this
yeah.
until July.
Okay. Dr. Sonia Lewis, a.k.a. the student loan
Yes,
doctor.
thank
Till
you.
soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We appreciate you.